The big question that we are asking right here is solar worth it in 2026? Save, save, save. My name is John Gatehi, and this is definitely Topite Electrician. We are enjoying the benefits of solar. Why is it important for anyone to go solar in 2026? The first thing that comes in handy is definitely the fact that you'll be able to save. You'll be able to save on a lot of money, because when you go solar, it means that you don't pay electricity bills. Now, the most important thing here is that this is still power that will be able to help you in your appliances as well as running your day-to-day life. Did you know that solar power can simply charge your EV with ease? That is quite a line right there, John. Good job. Your solar power can charge your EVs with ease. Now, if you have panels on the roof and you have an inverter that is able to supply power directly to your EV charger, you can have your EV charger at the garage or somewhere in the house so that you are able to pump power or pump current to your car very, very easily. Now, solar panels with the right inverter is able to convert that power to be able to help you in charging your vehicle, and therefore you don't need to worry. The good thing about it is, especially during the day, did you know that the sun is free? And by that, it means that you are able to charge your car at no extra cost, especially once the panels have been installed. And we will definitely be getting into the details of what you require to be able to charge your EV car, the size of the EV car, the size of the current that flows from your panels through to the inverter, the type of inverter that is able to support your car charger. Definitely, we'll be talking about that. California, Florida, Texas, then it means that you are enjoying a lot of relief, taxes relief from simply having the panels with you. Now, that one means a lot because you are able to get that relief, and which definitely means that you are ahead of so many people. Now, my top bosses, I would like to circle back to that point in a few, but let us go ahead and talk about the technical aspects, especially in today's world where we have technology that has really changed everything. I remember when growing up, we used to only have one type of a battery, which was lead acid, where we used to have the exchange of those chemicals in the battery cells. We used to have the battery at first was filled with the acid, right? And then we were strictly told that after this, once the level of the acid drops, you only add distilled water, not any water, but distilled water. And we used to buy those bottles. So this was high maintenance batteries. And still, with that maintenance, it would really cost us, and the batteries would not last that long, you know. So the good thing about right now is that we have lithium ion batteries. We also have lithium iron phosphate batteries, which are lasting longer. We find that most of these batteries are lasting for between 5, so this is the batteries section, between 5 to 10 years. And there are batteries which even last longer than 10 years, right? So within the 10 years, you will have already gained a lot of benefit from this solar power installation that you have, either supplying power to your property or supplying power to charge your EV cars. Now, top bosses, when it comes to people who are looking forward to save on a lot of money, we have agreed that once you have this system, for instance, the batteries, we have said others last more than 10 years. We can check that the solar panels themselves, you find that panels can last 25 to 30 years. Considering that we pay electricity on a monthly basis, in the period of 25 to 30 years, imagine the savings that you would have made within that period. Another important thing to take note is that within that period, as much as people claim that you will have done a lot of maintenance, with the emerging technology, the maintenance that is required in terms of solar power is really, really low. In fact, when it comes to the solar panels, you don't require much. As long as the installation was perfectly done, the wiring was done correctly, and even the parts that were bought to support that system are the right one, it means that that system can serve you for long. All right. Yes, so the only thing that in many cases you'll require is definitely a few maintenance tips which are not that expensive. For instance, cleaning of the panel. How you clean the panel, the solar panels, to ensure that you are free from the impact of the environment, such as dust or even salt that may affect the solar panels performance. All right. So if these cells are blocked by the dust, or in the coastal areas where you have a lot of salt or salt content in the air, or probably you have ice coverage on the panels, then it means that you can simply clean that and you can enjoy using your solar power. Did you know that another important thing when it comes to solar is that it is very easy for you to do that maintenance if you have automated the system? In today's day and age where we are talking about AI, where we are talking about automations, did you know that you can simply watch your solar panels via your phone? You can even have a system that automatically cleans the panel after a certain time. And you can even attach that system to the panels and program it. Especially now that you may have a lot of snow in your country, the thing that you need to do is to ensure that at specific times of the day, you are able to solve that. You can even have someone checking on the roof to ensure that everything is running well. There's also a technology where you are able to monitor the flow of current from the solar panels all the way to the inverter, and definitely powering either your home or the apartment if you are a builder. The good thing about solar is that it is not that hard to understand. All right. So we have agreed that indeed solar power will save you when it comes to the monthly electricity bills. We have said that solar power has advanced in terms of technology, and therefore it is definitely worth it for you to go solar. One thing that solar power will always shield you from is definitely the inflation. All right. That one goes without saying, because with time, electricity rises up due to so many factors. In my country, where fuel makes part of the electricity bill, it means that every time that we have a fuel hike, there will definitely be an impact on the electricity bills that you are paying, because when there is that hike on the fuel, it will definitely impact on the electricity supply. And therefore, you find that once that happens, you will definitely be affected in terms of what you are paying monthly. All right. Lynch Roge comes in and says, how often should solar be cleaned? Good question. Thank you so much for that. Solar panels should be cleaned as regularly as possible, but especially during the dusty period or the sunny period, we find that there is a lot of dust that is generated, especially if you are in the urban setup. People who are living close to the roads, it means that they need to constantly clean the panels. I would advise in a period of a month, for those days where you have a lot of sunny days and you are near the road or a very busy area such as an urban setup or a town, you definitely need to check on your panels and clean them between a period of 1 to 3 months, depending on how serious that area is. You find that in other areas, you will need to do that cleaning on a day-to-day basis. You remember, Lee, when in the US, People would not leave their homes because of snow. All right, they would even be having a lot of snow on their driveway or on their car parks, so that they will not even live with their cars. So you will find that the same impact is on the roof where you have your panels, and therefore it is important to constantly check on the panels. Did you know that panels have come with a lot of technology whereby even without the presence of sunlight, all right, just at daytime, you find that these panels are able to charge. In fact, in many cases, we have discovered with this panel that is indoors, with the presence of light from a bulb or a source of light, this panel is able to generate electricity. So even on cold days, you are supposed to clean this panel. In areas where you don't have a lot of issues, for instance, where we don't have a lot of dust covering the panels, therefore the frequency can shift from the 3 months to around 6 to 12 months. And that is how you will definitely be maintaining the solar panels. Thank you so much for that question, Lee. Top Heights Electricians has helped a lot of electricians, not only students but homeowners. It has also helped a lot of DIY people who want to improve their homes, who want to make things, especially people who are handy. I remember when growing up, my father, who was a teacher and also on the side was a carpenter, really loved to fix stuff by himself. And so we would have a lot of tools in our farm house. We'd have a lot of tools, we'd fix a lot of things, and I was very handy when growing up. I'm still am, I believe so. But I can prove that because I have a lot of tools that I have around here. And I love fixing things. So you find that in the country, we have a lot of DIY people who want to fix stuff for themselves. So if you want to install solar power on your own, it is definitely possible, especially for these small scale purposes. All right. So you find that you just want to power a light bulb, you just want to power, you know, probably a charger for your laptop or basically your phone, and so on and so forth. You find that such a system is not that large that requires an electrician expert or a PV or a photovoltaic expert. You find that you can execute that by yourself. So we have helped a lot of people to learn solar in a simple manner. We don't complicate things here at Top Heights Electricians, and that is why you find that most of the work that we do is very, very simplified. In fact, most people say that things are very simple when it comes to Top Heights, and that is why you are a top boss, because things have to be very simple for you. Now, another important thing that I wanted to mention is on the inverter. All right. So we have hybrid inverters. We also have another category of inverters which I would like to talk about, which is high frequency, and we also have low frequency. Now, these two inverters are very, very important because they take care of every type of load that you have. You know, when you have starting appliances or appliances that can have unstable starting currents, you know, these appliances include motors, they include machines that have motion or produce motion within them, such as a washing machine. You find that it has a motor inside, or even the compressor machine, it definitely involves motion. Now, if you have a high frequency inverter, it means that this inverter is light, is even cheaper, can only sustain lighter loads. All right, so that is the high frequency inverter. A high frequency inverter is very, very cost effective, number one. All right, even in terms of technology is advanced, but the only difference between a high frequency inverter and a low frequency inverter is the capability or the ability in the type of load that each is able to handle. All right, and therefore you find that a high frequency inverter only deals with lighter loads. All right, but a low frequency inverter has a transformer inside. has a huge coil that is able to handle starting currents. All right. So this, the important thing about these low frequency inverter is that when you have motors, when you have machines, you don't need to worry. When you invest in the low frequency, it means that you will definitely have a lot of things going on either in your house or in your business. Did you know that for our clients who deal with furniture, all right, who deal with car garages, who have a lot of motion that is going on in their workshop or in their business or even in their homes, that have a lot of motion that is happening, or sometimes heaters. Did you know that these frequency, the low frequency inverters, which are the ones that we recommend for them and even install, are the best for their purpose? All right. And therefore, you find that even for homes that require pumping, water pumping solutions, we recommend low frequency inverters. And you find that these inverters are able to perform optimally. All right. They're able to serve the customers well, and the customers are able to continue working without any issues. In terms of the load, you'll find that they will not have a lot of issues such as overheating, constant repairs, and this definitely means a lot for anyone that is seeking to go solar. So the emerging technology in solar power is able to suit your need. If you're a homeowner, if you're a business person, if you have a workshop, you definitely have a lot of options when it comes to the choice of inverters. In many cases, you find that the solar panels, all that is required is the current or the power that is generated from the panels. And many cases, it is influenced by the type of panel. You find that we have bifacial panels which generate more electricity compared to these single-phased panels. All right. So you find that on both sides. What is a bifacial? You find that a bifacial has this part here on top, which we have been used to. Even when I was growing up, we had a solar panel and it only had one side where you definitely generate electricity from. Why is that important for us? It is important for us to discuss the technology emergence when it comes to solar panels, because currently with the bifacial panels, you are able to tap electricity from both parts. All right. So as the solar rays flow through the top parts of the panels, you are able to harness electricity from this part. And as the rays penetrate through the glass, you also tap power from the other side, right? You can say the back side, or you can say the below part, you definitely tap electricity, and therefore increasing the efficiency, also saving on the space. Because imagine this was a bifacial panel. That means that it is able to utilize the same space as two panels because of this upper part as well as the other part. So you are maximizing on that space and charging battery at optimum levels, isn't it? All right. Moving on, I hope you are finding value. And if you have any questions, let me know definitely, because we are learning. Today's topic is very, very important. Is solar worth it in 2026, or is it just hype? Even moving beyond, will you consider solar power? And what are the reasons that will compel you to definitely shift into solar power? Right? So that is what we are definitely discussing. Now, the good thing about solar power, which is another important point, is that solar power is very, very efficient. And apart from that, you find that when we are talking about your property value is definitely increased. All right. Value of your property. If you have solar panels, you are not the same when it comes to property value with your neighbor who doesn't have it. When you have the panels on the roof and you are thinking about selling your property, or you're thinking about leasing the property, it definitely means that the property value is definitely increased. That is very, very important for you to consider solar or to consider the value of your property. Then it means that solar power should be top of the list on the reasons why you need to improve the value of your property. All right. If you are thinking about solar and definitely you asked someone about it and they discouraged you, you don't need to listen to them, right? You don't need to listen to anyone talking about how bad solar is, the downside. Of course, there's nothing in this world that doesn't have its own downside, right? So you don't need to focus on the negative, focus on the positive. If the positive outweighs the negative, why not? Why not? Everything is risky. Even waking up to start your day is risky. We just have to do it. You know, you might go and be hit by a car, right? You might even be choking while eating. As much as it is a good thing because you need nutrition, you might choke while eating and lose your life right there. So everything is risky, but we normally consider what are the upsides and we go for them, isn't it? All right. So when it comes to solar power, the upside is definitely more than the downside of having solar power in your property or in your business. You will save on a lot of money, guaranteed. You will save on a lot. Technology, which has improved, like we have said, it will definitely save you on a lot. When it comes to the batteries, the good thing about solar power is the fact that you are able to harness that power, store it for later. You know, with electricity, it is AC, alternating current. Has anyone ever stored electricity or alternating current in any form? I'm not aware of that. You can store electricity in form of direct current. Thinking of storage, we also say that you cannot lose. Energy cannot be lost. It can only be transformed from one form to the other. Do you agree? So even the electricity, which is a form of energy, is stored in the battery. All right. So that is a potential power. And that is why we normally refer to it as potential difference. Basically, that is a form of power. So it can either be converted to light, can either be converted to motion through use of machines that produce motion, such as motors. And these motors can be used especially in a workshop, can be used in, let's say, sewing machine, in fabric production and repair, and so on and so forth, isn't it? Spray painting when it comes to people with workshops, either garages or even furniture, for the case that I mentioned earlier, where my father was a carpenter part-time, and we learned a lot from the work that he was doing. A very disciplined person, a person who had a lot of work ethic that I really learned a lot from. Right. So when it comes to the battery technology, where you're able to store electricity or store power for later use, that is very, very key, that you are able to use this power later. All right. So once the solar panel has charged the battery until it is fully charged, then it gets to a point whereby the solar power will not be producing power anymore. Meaning the solar panels, especially at night or during a heavy cloud cover or during the rains, you'll find that the power that we harness from the solar panels is not that much. All right. So we definitely require the battery, and this is where the benefits of a battery come in handy. Once you have your batteries, you're able to store power. So the stored power can be used in multi-purpose functions or applications. You find that even in that home, you are able to run your appliances using the battery power that has been stored while the solar panels were charging the batteries. And remember, the good thing about solar panels is that during the day, the panels were directly supplying power to the home appliances. or even to your home needs that require immediate power. All right. So you find that when you have that inverter, you are able to directly power your home appliances. What inverter do we use when we want to connect the national electricity grid? We want to use the power from the solar panels as well as the battery. What type of inverter is able to be integrated in that system? It will use the national grid, it will use solar power, and it will also be connected to the battery to supply power. What type of inverter is that? Let me know in the comment. Let me know in the charts, top bosses. What type of inverter is that? That is a question for you as you continue streaming this stream and learning much more that probably you may not have gained in the past. All right. Thank you so much for the top bosses who are very, very proactive on this stream, on this chat. All right. Do we have any question? If you have any question, simply let me know and I will definitely be glad to address it. The capacity of the battery to have power for longer depends on the type of the battery, depends also on the type of material that made that battery. Like we said, lithium iron phosphate lasts longer, is able to hold that charge for longer. All right. And you find that it has some characteristics which are very, very important, such as the depth of drain can actually be 90% or even more. You can drain it up to 90%. Why is that important? It is important because you find that you are not limited, especially as you use your power supply, which is solar, in your home or in your business. Did you know that for some batteries, especially when we talk about the lead acid batteries, all right, lead acid batteries, you can simply drain them up to 50%. So regardless of the type of batteries that you have, especially if they are lead acid batteries, right? If you were to use them, you cannot drain them beyond 50%. Why is that a problem when it comes to the usage of your electricity? It means that you are limited. Imagine if electricity that is supplied to your property, either single phase or three phase, was limited in the current that you use in this manner. If, for instance, you cannot use beyond 50 amperes and you require 80 amperes, I'm just giving examples, and the moment you go beyond that, that electricity will no longer serve you until probably the next day. How will that affect you, especially if you have or are running a business? I believe that the impact will be huge, and therefore that will definitely slow you down, right? It will definitely slow your business. It will also slow your operations, all right? And anything that you are doing, it will definitely be affected. So the depth of drain for lithium batteries, you find that it goes all the way to 80%. Other batteries, you find that it goes all the way to 90%, meaning that you are not limited, especially if the system is properly sized. And that is why electricians are supposed to be very, very keen when it comes to sizing of the system. You know, if, for instance, the customer requires a certain amount of power supply for whatever thing that they have or whatever they are running, it means that you are supposed to size that system correctly. All right. Once the system is sized correctly, you are able to use it for the purposes that you want. So that is the good thing about technology. And when you store power in your battery, you are able to really make good use of it. All right. Thank you so much for my top bosses who are interacting on the chats. I really do appreciate you. When YouTube sees the signal of people who are very busy, it definitely pushes our content. It recommends our content further. And I am also grateful for the top bosses who not only watch our content but have also subscribed. Let me take this moment to say that majority of the people who consume our content have not subscribed. That is from the statistics that we have. We are on the way to 100,000 followers here on YouTube. Basically, let me say 100,000 subscribers, because at 72,000 means that from we are shy around 28,000 subscribers. Top boss, what are you waiting for? Why do you consume our content when you have not subscribed? So kindly subscribe so that you don't miss any of the episodes that we do share or understand anything regarding solar. All right. Okay. Now we have another point, which is number 5. You know, solar power, having solar power guarantees you an ROI which is very high. What is an ROI? An ROI is definitely a return on your investments. All right. So you find that during the time that you have installed that solar power, it means that you have a lot of savings when it comes to the costs that you spend on a monthly basis. All right. So you don't spend when it comes to electricity, monthly electricity bills, because you are saving. Like we said at the beginning, when it comes to any inflation impact, on power, solar power will definitely not be affected because already you have the panels. Unless we are talking about maintenance, and also we talked about the maintenance free. And even if you want to have a maintenance on that system, it is very, very few and not engaging or involving. You find that for your panels, you simply need to do some cleaning. For the batteries, you just need to check on the battery health. There are other times you find that people have the apps which are monitored via the phone. So you are able to monitor the performance of the system through the phone. And that definitely means that it is very easier for you to understand or check where the problem could be. For instance, if you are able to see the power that is generated from your solar panels to the inverters and to the battery, it means that you are able to detect any problem in the system, any fault in the system. Did you know that even the inverter performance can also be checked via the phone? How is the battery charging? How is the battery retaining power? That is also another key area where you need to watch. So if the battery is able to retain the power that it has, the power that has been harnessed from the solar power or the solar panels, it means that that battery is still good, in good health. All right, if you may say so. The system is performing optimally. All right, and that is definitely the intention or the expectation of every homeowner, that the panel is working properly, the inverter is good, the battery is also sound, everything is working properly. And so that when you connect an EV charger to charge your EV car, it does not drain a lot of current, which will destabilize the entire system. All right. So it is good for you to ensure that your system is properly uh, connected, it is working properly, and nothing destabilizes it, especially when it comes to heavy usage or heavy machines that are connected to that system. Majority of the people have a challenge, especially when it is the DIYers or even the installers. If you have any challenge when it comes to solar, this is the home of simplicity. Steve Jobs said that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. He was definitely referring to the fact that you need to be very simple, you need to have things as simplified as possible, and that is definitely what we try to do here at Top Heights Electricians. We ensure that everything is simple so that the students who learn from us, the DIYers who learn from us, People who want to understand anything solar, it becomes so easy for them. People who want to install solar or are thinking of going solar in the near future or even in future, we become their partner. We work with them and help them become better when it comes to solar installation. At number 6, we have net metering, where you will earn credits when you have net metering. Many states still offer net metering. What does net metering imply? There are these inverters whereby you are connected to the national grid, right? So once you generate excess power, it means that you are able to sell the extra power that you have generated. These are some inverters that are very, very special in a way, and I will definitely be listing some of the inverters that will enable net metering. So how does this work? I know it is not in so many states or so many countries, but you find that this system, which is connected to your solar power, the inverter is also connected to the national grid, right? So this is the inverter, right? So power from the solar comes in, and you are here using your power to power your appliances, right? So you find that in many cases, someone has installed a system that is bigger than what they require. Assuming you have a 10 kilowatt system, all right? And during the day, the max that you can use is probably around 3 kilowatt. Of course, 3 kilowatt hour. It means that the excess power can be sold to the national electricity grid. And this means that during the day or throughout the month, there is power that you are selling to the national electricity grid, which means that you will be able to earn credits, all right, and also reducing your power bills to near zero. So that is a very important key factor. And when you are moving to have solar power, if this is definitely your dream that one day you will be able to earn from that, to earn credits from that, definitely you need to consider an inverter that will be able to do that efficiently, right? So that the power that you use and the power that you release to the national grid will definitely earn you on a lot, and that is enabled by the system that you have, be it the inverters, be it the battery. And also another key thing is the power that you generate for free from the solar panels that you do have. So that means if you have a lot of solar panels on the roof, you are able to efficiently achieve that or realize that. Also, another important thing is that if you have solar panels which are efficient, like we've been talking about the bifacial solar panels, Jinko panels, these panels are able to release a lot of power to your system, all right? So you are able to run efficiently every appliances that you have, every house need that you have, you definitely run it. And then the excess is generated back to the national grid. All right. Ivan says, how best can I connect two or more panels? And right, let me just repeat the question. That is from Ivan says, how best can I connect two or more panel? And how can I watch the performance of my solar system using a phone? All right. So one thing that you need to know is that you need to have an inverter which is enabled, all right, which has that system. That inverter needs to be connected to your phone through the internet. So the inverter has to be powered by, of course, the inverter is powering itself, but again, it has to have that internet. So let me just try to zoom in and then we can see how far we've come. In a few, we will also, in our coming videos, that is, we will also be talking a lot more when it comes to the off-grid solar systems in specific areas in the USA. That is number 5. We'll also be talking about the best inverters for home, but that will be a topic for another day. We'll definitely be discussing about the solar inverters that can definitely work in ensuring that you receive the credits, and also which will help you in terms of net metering. All right. All right. Uh-huh. Is it important for you to consider an expensive system, or are you supposed to consider a system that works? So in many cases, you find that people ask a lot of questions in regards to the money. Okay. And I agree that people are concerned when it comes to the cost of solar, because there is a place where it gets and you are wondering, is this worth it, or is this too expensive for me at the moment? Will my budget be able to sustain me or help me go solar? So those are some of the questions that majority of the customers will ask. But again, we work in with them. We become a partner in helping them become better when it comes to the choice that they want to make, especially regarding solar power. So if you're looking forward to understand solar power, especially the one that will suit your home, you suit your business needs, we are your partner. We will work with you. Simply shoot us an SMS, or simply write to us even via WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp number is +254. That is our WhatsApp number in case you require any solar assistance. +254 343 412. Okay. So if you require any assistance regarding solar, if you want to go solar and you are a DIY, that is the number, to contact. You will contact us and we will help you. That is our WhatsApp number, which is 0711, or basically +254 711 343 412, and we will definitely help you. In many cases, customers reach out to us when they want an assistance in sizing their system. So be it a system that will help them to pump their water for agribusiness, we definitely work with them. We are their partner. All right. There are people who also want to know the type of system that they will need for their homes. We are also their partners. Okay, so moving on to what we've been discussing today. Today, we've had a fantastic time ensuring that we learn a lot when it comes to solar. And the question that we've been asking is solar power worth it? So the next point, which is very, very important, but you will stick around for the final point, which will definitely help you, and also bonus tips for your solar power system, especially if you have already installed it. So the next point, which is number 7, is you will definitely have um, a sustainable system for your home. All right, for your home, or probably for your business. All right. So when it comes to solar power is green energy. You have seen that there has been a push to ensure that people adhere to the environment, or to the environmental regulations, whereby we want to preserve our planet, because I'm not so sure about this statement that I'm going to make next, but we only have this planet that we know of as humans that definitely supports life, without any issues. comes in so natural for us as humans, and even for the animals that we love. Do you love animals like I do? I love cats, I love dogs, I pet them, I like them. But again, it is important for us to ensure that we are concerned about all the animals, we are concerned about life. And even after us, there are humans that will come, even long after we are gone. The question is, do we take care of the planet to ensure that they will inherit a safer planet? So again, when it comes to solar power takes good care of the environment because it uses the natural available resource, which is the sunlight. Green energy is definitely important. So going solar helps you support the environment, because when we shift to traditional methods where we would have to generate electricity, you find that those traditional methods are also harming the planet in a way. If, for instance, you use a generator to generate electricity, it means that you are polluting the air, you are harming the environment, you are harming plants, you are harming animals. All right, there are animals and plants which will be in that vicinity where there is power generation through the generator, and this definitely will mean that they are heavily inconvenienced, and that is not what we want. By using solar power, you ensure that you take good care of the environment by having everything taken care of, the animals as well as the plant cover. And also another important thing is that even for the generations to come, we will have taken care of them, because even once we are gone and leave this planet, we need to leave it safer for others, just like our predecessors left it very safe for others. Did they do a good job? All right, it is upon us to judge them whether they left a good planet for us to enjoy, and we need to also do the same for the generations that are coming after us. All right, we need to agree or be very peaceful with the fact that after us, there are others who will definitely come and enjoy this planet. Energy independence and security is another key factor when it comes to solar power. That is our eighth point. When you have solar power, you definitely have power reliability. All right. You don't need to rely on other methods for you to get electricity to run your day-to-day activities. So the good thing about solar power is that it is a reliable system. It is a credible system, especially if it has been done properly with the correct solar panels, with the correct inverter. The system is performing optimally. The wiring has been done correctly. First of all, let us talk a little bit about these MC4 connectors and also the cabling from the panels. If they are not exposed to high weather conditions, that will, is that the best term? Extreme weather conditions that will damage them or compromise on the connection, it means that the solar panel will continue to operate. PV cables, the right cables for solar power, you know, or solar to the inverter or solar to the charge controller, you need to use the correct cables. These cables will ensure maximum current flow from the solar panels all the way to the inverter, so ensuring that that system does not disappoint you and you continue enjoying power that you harness from the solar power. All right, so the good thing about having the correct system is that you are able to have a secured system. And another important thing is that you have security. In many cases, you find that our homes with a power outage, they are very much inconvenienced. Why? Because you find that the security is compromised, there is that darkness, there is the system such as CCTV will not be working, therefore you will not be very safe. Recording will definitely be affected. If you don't have Wi-Fi, you find that so many things stall, and that is not what we want. At number 9, we have easy financial burden on you, or little to no upfront costs when it comes to paying your bills, right? Do you have a question from, oh, that is Zigza, who was telling us goodbye or kwaheri in Kiswahili. Kwaheri in Kiswahili says it means goodbye. All right. Okay. So you find that once you have your solar power, you save on a lot, like we were saying at the beginning. When it comes to your electric bill, you don't have any expenses. You have zero to no expenses when it comes to monthly running costs. So monthly running costs for solar power are definitely little to zero, right? So that is in terms of running costs. In many cases, you find that there are months that you will not spend any amount of money when it comes to solar. All right. So that is the benefit of having solar power, and it helps you in decision making as well as managing your finances. So like I said, we will definitely be discussing about these and many topics. We were today discussing about why it is worth it to go solar, especially in 2026 and moving forward. We want to have reliable power. We want to have safety when it comes to the power supply that we have. We also want to ensure that we have a reliability in what we are working, especially if we have a business. We don't want the business to be halted by a power outage or a maintenance or a shutdown maintenance that is ongoing from the national grid. We want to work efficiently, with a system that is credible as well as reliable, which is solar power. And definitely, if the system is correctly sized, we definitely have said that the system will work in your favor. So in the next video or in the next live stream, we'll be talking about how much it costs to run a house on solar in USA. We'll be talking about breaking down the cost from the solar panels, the inverters, as well as the batteries. My name is John Gatehi. Thank you so much for watching. This is Top Heights Solar and Electricals. Goodbye for now.